Welcome to One Chapter, One Thought. I'm Pastor Chris from Lincroft Bible Church in New Jersey, and every weekday I read one chapter of the New Testament and offer one brief devotional thought. Today's reading is from the book of Romans, chapter 13. Let every person be subject to the governing authorities, for there is no authority except from God, and those that exist have been instituted by God. Therefore, whoever resists the authorities resists what God has appointed, and those who resist will incur judgment. For rulers are not a terror to good conduct, but to bad. Would you have no fear of the one who is in authority? Then do what is good, and you will receive his approval, for he is God's servant for your good. But if you do wrong, be afraid, for he does not bear the sword in vain. For he is a servant of God, an avenger who carries out God's wrath on the wrongdoer. Therefore, one must be in subjection, not only to avoid God's wrath, but also for the sake of conscience. For because of this, you also pay taxes, for the authorities are ministers of God, attending to this very thing. Pay to all what is owed to them, taxes to whom taxes are owed, revenue to whom revenue is owed, respect to whom respect is owed, honor to whom honor is owed. Owe no one anything except to love each other, for the one who loves has fulfilled the law. For the commandments, you shall not commit adultery, you shall not murder, you shall not steal, you shall not covet, and any other commandment are summed up in this word, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. Love does no wrong to a neighbor. Therefore, love is the fulfilling of the law. Beside this, you know the time, that the hour has come for you to wake up from sleep. For salvation is nearer to us now than when we first believed. The night is far gone, the day is at hand. So let us cast off the works of darkness and put on the armor of light. Let us walk properly in the daytime, not in orgies and drunkenness, not in sexual immorality and sensuality, not in quarreling and jealousy, but put on the Lord Jesus Christ and make no provision for the flesh to gratify its desires. One thought. Trying to define a word like love is a lot like trying to define other big words like family. I mean, sure, we can say things like, family is people who are related to me, but when you think about familial relationships, they're so comprehensive, they're so interwoven in our lives that any kind of comprehensive definition for something that expansive is very difficult to have, right? And love is kind of like that. I mean, how do you actually define love? But Paul, he gives us some characteristics of love here in Romans 13, I think some guideposts to help us think through, what love is and what it looks like in life. And number one, he says that love fulfills the law. In verse 8, he says, owe no one anything except to love each other, for the one who loves another has fulfilled the law. So what I think Paul is getting at here is that obedience to God is shown most tangibly through loving others. The whole point of God's law is that we would love him with all of our heart, soul, mind, and strength, and love our neighbor as ourselves. And so if you really want to be obedient to God, if you want to demonstrate love for God, then you must love others. And Paul goes on to also say that not only does love fulfill the law, but number two, love does no wrong. In verse 10, he says, love does no wrong to a neighbor, therefore love is the fulfilling of the law. In the medical field, there's something known as the Hippocratic Oath that medical professionals attempt to follow, which is most simply saying, do no harm. Don't do things to your patient which will bring them harm. Don't do these unnecessary things also that could bring harm to them. So it's kind of just providing an anchor or a waypoint, and that's kind of what Paul is saying here as well. Like love, if you can't define love or you don't know what it is, think about it at least this way. Don't do wrong to a neighbor. What does it look like to love one? Don't wrong them. Don't do harm to them. Be considerate of their well-being. And we can, in how you view them and how you interact with them, how you speak to them without cruelty. This verse warns against causing harm, of course, but that should not keep us on the other side from having hard conversations with people, because sometimes people will do things which will ultimately be destructive to themselves and others, and it would be unloving not to have that conversation. But love corrects others. It doesn't belittle them. And so love in the Christian faith is the center of our ethics. And while life seems to get more and more complex and complicated every passing year, what can help us meet the moment is the simple command: love your neighbor as yourself. It fulfills the law, and it does no wrong to people.